And we are live. Hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals of audio and video podcast land. And welcome to the first official, as I use in air quotes, episode of Neon Memories, a lighthearted, magical 80s TTRPG actual play podcast. I am your storyteller for this lovely game, Mikey, and I will be leading my incredible cast of players through a neon-soaked, alternative 80s, crazy, chaotic, it's about to go down is what I'm trying to say. You can find me personally on my social medias at Pop Culture Geek, but you can also follow all of us collectively at Vibe Tribe Productions. You want to give us a like and follow because you're going to want to stay up to date on all the projects we got going on for season 2 because it's a lot. Yeah, we're going balls to the wall with season 2, and it's something to behold, and there's something for everyone, which I'm super excited about. As I mentioned, I can never tell these stories alone. I am joined by my amazing cast of players. We're going to go around real quick. They're going to introduce themselves, plug any socials and projects they got. And the question of the night is, what is your favorite 80s movie, TV show? Yes.
We have to pick just one?
You can name a few.
Okay.
I was like, I'm having anxiety just having to limit myself now.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it helps, I will go first. So I'm a child of the 90s, right? So I'm a child of the 90s, but I had parents that grew up in the heyday of the 80s. And plus, my parents were cultured. They taught me and my brother all the good movies. So if I had to pick my favorite, let's see. I probably think my favorite movie that came out of the 80s. Honestly, I'm a sucker for any John Hughes movie. So, but I have to say 16 Candles is probably my favorite.
Nice.
And then...
Good choice.
Yeah, and then Breakfast Club is my secondary. Alrighty. But enough about me. Let's learn a little bit about our players this episode, or this evening, we shall see. So, beforehand, the dice gods have decided who is going to go first, and in no particular order, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, the dice gods have decided that Connor, you shall be the first to go.
It's me. Hi, I'm Connor. I am in this here Neon Memories play, as actual play, as well as the A Walk Among Gods D&D 5th edition game, and our Dusk Veil Monster of the Week game here on Season 2 of Vibe Tribe. And you can't find me on social media. You just can't. It's impossible. My favorite 80s movies, also being a child of the 90s, and also being raised by my cultured mother. My number one pick, which is also courtesy of my beloved uncle, is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which made it in just at 1989. So that is the clear winner. And then besides that one has to be The Lost Boys, because as a goth at heart, it just really spoke to my emo tendencies and sensibilities as a child. So those are my two. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
I love that. Next up to give their introduction to everybody is going to be Damon.
Hi, everybody. This is Damon, Theater Cup 79. I am currently in this show for Vibe Tribe and also in A Walk Among Gods with Mr. Connor over there. I am a co-host of a podcast called Cubs Out Loud, the podcast of indeterminate length. I'm going to try to keep plugging that, cubsoutloud.com. On the social medias, you can find my safe for work Twitter as DMA Gamer 79. I think I'm going to keep plugging that one. I don't have a lot of followers. You might not be able to find me very quickly, but, you know, it's there. Theater Cup 79 is where you can find me on most sites. That's even Facebook. So there's that. Oh wow. So 80s movies, TV shows. Wow, that's a question. So I had to really quickly like look something else. I was like, I know these movies are 80s movies. I was born in 79, hence Theater Cup 79, haha. I was growing up in the 80s. So a lot of memories are gone. But looking back, because I remembered it very quickly, and I was like, oh, I know these. So I can say a few. Clue. Yes, obviously. Then The Princess Bride is a penultimate favorite.
Yes.
And there was one more that I saw when I was looking through this list really quickly. Where did it go? Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Like, duh.
You're totally right.
Yeah. So if I had to, like, if you said, what are your favorite movies in the 80s? Those would be the ones I would say right off the bat. But almost everything. Because, when you were a kid in the 80s and you were a teenager, it's in the 90s, like, a lot of that was, Blockbuster VHS that you watched over and over and over again. Or if you're lucky, I have a lot of the Disney movies. My mom had a lot of the Disney movies. So there's that. But that's me. Yay.
Excellent. I forgot about Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's such a classic. For me, well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, Jessica Rabbit awakened a lot of things. And I was like, this was the first introduction. I'm like, oh wow, cartoons can be kind of sexy. But then, of course, it also has one of my favorite lines. Oh my God, it's Dip! And of course, the iconic villain, because he talked like this.
So good.
Let's go home and play patty cake. God, just it was so great.
Yes. So many great moments.
Oh, I love rewatching it, but unfortunately, I have little cousins. I was like, yeah, we're gonna wait till you're older because we can't watch it really in this day and age right now. But it's great. Not yet, but I will corrupt you eventually. Alrighty, and of course, last but certainly not least, surprisingly, for tonight is going to be the one and only Sutphin.
Hey everybody, it's Sutphin, Chris, and just as a side note, I still have Parkinson's.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I'm going to be using that one a lot.
That's the tagline for season 2 for you. Yes,
just to let you know. But I am participating in. I can never remember. I always forget one. So let's see. The Academy, Crystal City, Brave New Wild, Tonight, and Duskvale. So I'm trying to keep all these character names straight in my head and make sure that there's no crossover. But you can find me, I guess, TikTok. I'm at Cosmos Prefect. I also have Parky TV, just a channel I'm trying to get started up, just telling stories and sharing about people under, as like me, at young onset, which is basically 50 and younger, that's diagnosed with this joyous disease. But yeah, gosh, the favorite 80s movies or shows. I mean, the geek in me is, and you can probably see over my shoulder, you got to have Star Trek, the motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no, that was kind of on the cusp. So any of them up to 4, which I actually like that 4. Even though they saved the whales.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't do without Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, Indiana Jones.
Yep.
I mean, any of those, Lord, TV shows. I mean, cartoon wise, you had there's just so many. I can't. I mean, it makes my brain hurt trying to think about which ones because I'm like, I'm going to forget something. But yeah, I mean, it was just like I was 74. So once the 80s hit, I was in kindergarten. So going through all of that, and I mean, just the random stuff. I mean, talking about the John Hughes films. Does anybody remember Tough Turf?
No.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah, you got to check that out. That's one of those that you don't really hear about, but for some reason, like I had a VHS copy of that and Footloose that I just kept watching over and over. And we had a laser disc player, not a CD player, but a laser disc with a copy of the Final Countdown. For whatever reason, I can't remember. I think they had it. The place where Dad worked, they started like video rental or something because they were the only place that could sell the video discs. But yeah, it was just such a fun time, and I gotta find my Top Gun jacket somewhere. I'll wear it next time.
Oh,
Fun.
If you could find it, that would be the most beautiful thing on the planet.
It's somewhere. I don't know if it's in either the closet that's here in my office or in the one in our Christmas junk storage room, which has become almost impassable now because everything. We just kind of threw it in there and shut the door. We'll get to that in spring once we start, stocking up for, buying for Christmas for next year.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. And then I was looking at this list. I'm like, hold up. When was this movie released? And of course, how could I forget? My other favorite is, of course, The Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this. It was such a great. There was so much content,
Right,
in that decade that we, like you said. I mean, there's stuff that you just don't even think about that you don't realize. I mean, I'd forgotten that Who Framed Roger Rabbit was in the 80s. I was thinking that was like early 90s.
right.
But and then of course, to date myself even more, I start thinking about the music of the generation. And then I get mixed up and I'm like, well, no, that was in the 90s because I was listening to that when I was in college, not in high school. So there's that weird transition, I guess. So.
Wow.
That is awesome. But yeah, just imagine how the rest of this campaign is going to go when we're going to start references galore. Now, as a full disclaimer, so I was cultured by parents who grew up in the 80s, but I needed to do more of my research too. Which actually leads into a good segue to kind of give a little bit of what this game is going to be and set expectations for the listening and viewing audience. So, as it was mentioned during our character creation, Lighthearted is a tabletop game soaked in the neon memories of I did that. See what I did there? Soaked in the neon memories of an alternate 1980s Earth in which magic and Madonna are a possibility to be in the same timeline. Though we need to figure out what era of Madonna would best suit for the story, which is a conversation for me to do later. But as I mentioned, Lighthearted is a TTRPG made by Gallant Knight Games, which, as I mentioned in character creation, has an interesting dice mechanic in which players roll not only with their dice assigned to their stats, but they also roll dice associated to their character's emotional state, which fluctuates between scenes. So to set a little bit of expectations for everyone who is listening and watching along, first of all, thank you, because this is going to be a fun adventure. But more importantly, Neon Memories is going to be set in the alternate 1980s. So culture-wise, all that stuff, y'all should do your research because I'm going to be pulling stuff and you newer kids out there are going to be like, what is that? So make sure that you have Google ready because you're going to want to be looking these up. But more importantly, Our characters are going to be community college students, so this is going to be, I don't want to say more adult, but we're out of high school and we're just into emerging adulthood. So the things that come with it, like finding a job, paying rent, making sure you don't flunk your finals, so all that stuff. But more importantly, not only given with this cast, but because of the themes that the game addresses, as it was dubbed in our character creation, Neon Memories is going to be your game with a Y, because it is going to touch on lots of different topics and issues, not just in general, but also topics and issues affecting the LGBTQIA plus community as well. Yes, we live for the fan. So, just to give a bit of disclaimer there, because it is 2023 at the time of this recording, ladies and gentlemen, nobody got time for all that nonsense and the hate. Just saying. Alrighty. But with that out of the way, let us begin proper. So, scene 1. Which, by the way, I'm going to announce when scenes are, so that way it helps my players navigate with their emotional states, because the emotions change at the beginning of each scene. But right now, their emotional spectrum is in the middle, and then they will fluctuate as we continue. But scene 1. This is going to be so beautiful. I love it. I'm really, really excited. I can't contain my excitement, so apologies in advance. But the year is 1985. And of course, because this is an alternate 1985, whatever references I pull, we'll say they are there, even if it makes no sense time-wise. But it is currently 1985, and it is the end of summer, so a little bit of August for most people. And we cut upon our small little town of St. Pelmo's Ire. See, I told you.
Ire.
Yes. Listen.
Oh, God.
It hurts me on the inside. Is where that hurts.
I warned you at the beginning.
So as you're editing, we need to have a pun counter.
Yes. Yep.
Ding.
Yeah. You can put that in post. Every time it comes up, it just pops up in the corner.
Mm.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to. So editing, Mikey, just you got this. Yes, but we are currently located in St. Pelmo's Ire. I told you I was gonna go there. And it is a warm evening as children from the cul-de-sac are returning home for dinner. Bikes, the sound of children playing during the summer, but we're not there yet. Oh, what it means to be young again. But as the camera, so to speak, looks over St. Pelmo's Ire, it is a small, quaint little suburban neighborhood / town. And as I mentioned, it is the early evening with children returning from adventures outside, riding bikes, getting into mischief, all that kind of stuff, and returning home for a nice meal and enjoying some quality time with families as the end of summer is coming to a close for most people. And the dreams of summer memories begin to fade away for most children as they prepare to head back to school. Well, that's not the kind of story we're telling here. So, whereas the children, their day ends when it becomes dinner time for 6 high school graduates. The end of dinner marks the beginning of their day, so to speak. We find ourselves on the precipice of the end of summer. And as most people are getting ready for school, our 6 lovely high school graduates are preparing for one last hurrah before they head on over to college, the next phase of life. So, tonight is something very, very special because tonight is the largest end of summer party, and every graduating senior always dreams of this day when they graduate from St. Pelmo's Ire High, as it is the biggest party of the summer. And if you somehow found your way invited or know somebody who got you in, it is your ticket to not only climb the social ladder one more time before going to college, but it is also guaranteed with the multiple stories that previous senior classes have told the freshmen and sophomores, and to some extent the juniors, all the underclassmen, of how magical and crazy this night can get. So, we find ourselves in various places across St. Pelmo's Ire where we see each of our 6 main characters, so to speak, in this story, kind of getting ready for this party. And of course, everybody knows that the person throwing said party is just known as the Chad. So if I had to give a little bit of description, the Chad is like, for some reason, he's like this super senior that never can. He just needs one more class, you guys. He just needs one more class to graduate, but he never can pass that last final, man. But for some reason, they continue to let him be there for some odd reason. And of course, the Chad is the best party host. He knows all the hookup spots. He knows where to get all the fun things. But of course, the Chad's prize possession, his coup d'etat, if you will, his magnum opus, is the end of summer St. Pelmo's Ire party. So, as various high school seniors begin making their way towards the Chad's house and getting ready for the evening, seeing multiple camera shots of different people getting picked up in cars, people riding their bikes, having a 3-way call, figuring out what to wear, we find our 6 lovable heroes, cast members, our high school seniors, however we're going to call it. We can workshop it later. We get to see a little bit of how they're getting ready for this party. So, once again, the Dice Gods have decided everybody's fate for tonight. And, Damon, you have selected to go first. So, Damon, why don't you give us an introduction of your character, their name, your clique that you picked, a little bit of description of their personality, and what they're currently doing right now to get ready for the Chad's party.
Okay. So, everyone, meet Shanice Willis. See her. She is the rising star clique of this game. Yay. So gosh, I wrote her description now, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick. She is a rich, talented, beautiful, I called her a beautiful black princess, is what I called her. So she is, her parents are wealthy, her family's wealthy. They probably live in the nicest neighborhood of St. Pelmo's Ire. So that's where she is. She is an actor, singer, just waiting for her big break. That is her. She's going to college because her parents are telling her to go to college. They're making her go. So right now, she would be in the last bits, I would say, of getting ready. The outfit is on point. It's a nice looking, I would say, like a jean jacket, just in case it gets warm or cold. A halter top, and a jean skirt, some a sensible heel. She knows she's going to have to walk a little bit because she's going to be waiting on. Is it Brad? Is it Garrett? I don't remember, but someone is picking her up. She doesn't remember. This is the crush right at the end of graduating that is holding on to the summer till just before we head to college. So I think it's Brad. I'm gonna say Brad. So so she's putting the last bit of makeup on. She's getting the hair right. She's getting the jewelry on, and she's just sitting at her vanity, just primping and prepping, and essentially waiting for the doorbell to ring so that she knows her ride is here.
Awesome.
That is Shanice.
I love the description. Yes, I love it. This is gonna be so much fun. And so, Shanice, as you are getting ready at your vanity, I know it's not 1980s, but for some reason I just hear Beauty School Dropout playing in the background for you. You know what? Shanice probably was like Sandy twice in the school productions.
She has played Sandy and Rizzo. She's done both.
Yes.
She's just that girl.
It's just like flip the hair.
Getting the hairspray on just right and getting it. Yeah, that's her.
Oof. All that hairspray, man. It's like
get that bang.
Ooh, yes, you got to get the bang coiffed and perfect.
So yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Shanice, as you're getting ready and you're waiting on Brad, you start to hear your cell phone. Yes, they had cell phone in the 80s, ladies and germs and non-binary people of the world. You young kids, look it up. It was crazy. It's a big old. I'm imagining. Yes, it's a. For Shanice, I'm imagining it's like a pink brick phone, just like.
Yes, it is a pink brick.
It's like because Shanice's family got monies, y'all. It's like Shanice got one that was colored, like with actual color, not just black or gray.
Imported from Japan, children. Yes. Or Korea.
And they had to make your own phone cases then.
Yes. That part.
Because that part was just not even considered.
Yeah. Okay, so ring. I will answer. Hello, Shanice speaking.
What's up, girl? So Shanice, you know that on the other line, this is one of your besties, Deborah. It's like, Shanice, what's up, girl?
Hey, I'm just getting ready. Where are you? What are you doing? What's going on?
Girl, I'm on my way to the party.
Yes, I'm waiting on Brad. Yes, Brad.
Oh, so ooh. Now, girl, you gotta tell me. The quarterback?
Of course. I mean, at least until college, obviously. I'm not going to break up with him tonight. I promised myself I wouldn't do it tonight.
Okay, whatever you say. I mean, listen, I'm all for true love and everything, but this is the end of summer party, girl. And we're on to bigger and better things.
I know, Deborah, but at least for tonight, I will. I mean, who knows what'll happen, right? That's the whole point, isn't it?
Oh, yes, for sure. And in the background, you could hear everyone's just like, woo! It's like, ooh,
Go ahead.
I'm so excited. Everybody's kind of getting crazy out here. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Hey! As you just hear Deborah yelling. It's like, hey, move out of the way. You just hear the car honking. So one thing about Deborah, she's one of those girls that she talks and drives at the same time. And so it's like, move it or lose it.
Yes. So I will promise you this. We will have fun. We will definitely have fun. Maybe there's a stage. Who knows?
Ooh, now I'm going to keep my eye on that. All right, girl, I got to go. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.
Please don't crash. Love you. Bye.
Click.
Hit the big buttons. Like sit it on the side. And, actually, it will go into the purse because I'm assuming I'm not going to get another call.
True. In the words of Bob the Drag Queen, walk into the room purse first.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I told you this.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So, Shanice, as you're finishing getting ready, you just hear a honk from outside.
Oh, that's Brad. Okay. That's right. I remember that. And I will come down the stairs. I will quickly say goodbye to my parents. I have an older brother, Sean, who just went through this like a couple of years ago. So they should know. Like, and I will kind of kiss Dad and Mom and be like, I'll be home late and I have my phone. And just like saunter out of the door.
Nice. So, Shanice, you exit your house, you close the door, and waiting in, of course, his nice little Cadillac is Brad. He's so dreamy, according to everybody.
Yeah.
Now, for the audience, Lighthearted takes place in an alternate world, so anything humanoid is up for grabs, which means that as Shanice, as you are looking at Brad, of course, is in his St. Elmo Pyre Letterman's jacket and the typical jeans and sneakers combo for this party. The only thing that might be a little different for most folks is that, he's good looking. I mean, he may be a little stitched up, granted that he looks like Frankenstein's monster, but we don't judge in this world.
Yes. And I will walk up to him and go, are you ready to go?
Of course, babe. Let's go.
I will tap him on the cheek and wait for him to open the door.
Which he does. He opens it up like comically, like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Comically stumbling to do so. Like he's nervous, but he means well. And he eventually gets the door opens for you and even takes your hand and leads you in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, gentlemen.
And then slides over the hood of his car and then gets into his side, hops in. It's like, all right, babe, let's go. And just begins driving off, heading toward the Chad's house. And so as you and Brad are cruising down the street, we pass another house where we get a little bit of a glimpse of Connor's character. So Connor, introduce your character, the Clique, a little bit about what they look like and what they're currently doing right now.
Okay, so as the camera follows Shanice driving down the road, it lingers on an open garage door, and you see, like Wicked Witch of the West style, a pair of denim-clad and boot-clad legs poking out from underneath a 1982 Subaru Brat that is up on jacks. And you hear on the radio, it's a little anachronistic, but I'm going to lean into it, is my favorite cover of one of my favorite songs, which is called Mexican Radio. So it's way more punky and way more a little metal, a little punk, a nice cultural fusion in there. And then out slides from underneath the Subaru Brat, Eric Colmena. And he is clad in oil-stained denim and flannel. He's in a tank top and is just covered in just engine grease. He's got a screwdriver in one hand and a flashlight in the other. And he rolls out and goes over to his toolbox and drops everything down. And in time with the music, lowers the Subaru Brat off the jacks, unchocks the wheels, gets in the driver's side, leaving the door open, cranks the engine, and it mercifully cranks over. But this is Eric Colmena, and he is the Gearhead. And he is currently getting ready to go to the party. The only way that he got invited was through his longtime friend and secret lover, Carrie, who I believe invited him because he knows how to get the good stuff. And so the bed of his Subaru Brat has a camper shell over it because it's still the end of summer, and he took a lot of camping trips out into the woods and forests and whatever environment lives outside of the city. And he's been collecting things and currently has many things stored in the secret compartments inside of the Brat's camper shell.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense of how Eric got into the party.
Yep. Can I add one other thing about Eric's appearance?
Go for it.
He has like deep forest green colored glamour that's like two spiraling wraps that go down from like his shoulders down either arm, kind of like a tattoo, but it's like a flickering glamour, not the most expensive, but also not really a cheap one. It's meant to, he's had it for a while, and that's his own little personal taste, and they end on his knuckles and fingers.
Oof, most excellent.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So yeah, Eric, somehow you find yourself invited to the Chad's party. And of course, you got the car working, and at least it's running for now. Yeah. Oh man. Never mind. I'm gonna wait until later because that car is gonna be so much fun to later. But Eric, as you're finishing up, so quick question: does Eric have any siblings?
Yeah. So Eric has a younger sibling. They are still in high school. They're like 3 or 4 years apart, I think. So maybe like going to be a freshman now that Eric is graduated. And then they live with their grandmother.
Okay.
In this suburban-ish house.
Do I want to say it? Yeah, Eric is giving me Stay Gold Pony Boy vibes. From the kind of.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I was like, this is giving me outsider vibes, and I kind of dig it.
Yeah. No, that's very fair. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Which also, by the way, make sure you read the book. It's a great read, just saying. Anyways, so
I
Eric,
the other book and movie combo that I forgot to mention earlier, but I'll save it for later.
Okay. I can't wait to hear it. Eric, as you're finishing kind of cleaning yourself up a little bit, your sister walks out and she kind of does that typical thing most little sisters do. She pretends that she's not there by trying to hide, but she's doing a very bad job at it. And she's kind of just like peeking out. And when you notice she quickly hides behind your car and tries to act like you didn't see her.
Hey sis, you know I can see your shoes, right?
No, you can't. And she tries to hide the shoes.
Oh, yep, nope, you're right. Totally can't. My bad. Carry on. Go back to oily ragging my hands.
Oh, fine. And she kind of just steps out from behind the car. So, you're going to the Chad's party tonight?
That's what Carrie said. They wanted me to go, so it's time to go.
And she kind of just looks at you. So, is this invitation just you? Can you take a +1? Like, what's the situation here?
The power you've given me, Mikey. Sorry, sis. I think this party's a little too old for you, but I promise I'll give you all the stories when I get home.
No fair, but fine.
I don't want to ruin it for when you get to go, when you graduate, you know?
True. And you can kind of just see in her eyes, her starting to contemplate what that would be like. And she begins vapidly dreaming of that moment and kind of shakes back to reality. Oh, okay. Well, are you really going to the party? And looks you up and down. That?
What's wrong with it's fine. Why?
She kind of gives you like the side neck eye. She's just like, it's like, well, first of all, you're covered in grease, so I don't think that's a cute look. And number 2, your hair's a mess. And then she does the thing that younger siblings do, especially at that particular age. They have no filter and are brutally honest. So it's like everything that she points out about why it's wrong to wear what you're currently wearing to this party is just like, my heart. Again, why are you going so deep?
Actual conversations I had with my sibling. Yeah, that's great.
I was like, her intentions are good, but because there's no filter, she's just blunt.
Yes.
So, yeah, maybe you should probably change.
Yeah, all right. I guess I can put on something that hasn't been, covered in mud or grease or both. So I guess I put away all the tools in the drawer where they belong, and then I go into the house.
Listen, as somebody whose grandfather was like that as well, you have made my heart happy because it's just like, I'm telling you, man, people need to take care of their tools out here.
Yes, they do.
Especially when you need it. It's like, where's the screwdriver? I don't know.
Attention, any coworker I have that might be listening to this or watching this. Throwing that out there.
Be like, nobody specific, but
literally everyone in that shop.
But you.
Especially
And
you.
you. And
Josh. I know you're listening, Josh.
Dang.
I love you, Josh.
Josh, if you're listening, thanks for subscribing and tuning in.
Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it, but also, bruh, your toolbox, though. Anyway, that's enough talking trash about Josh. We'll save it for future episodes.
Yes. Now I'm gonna find a way to make Josh an NPC. Thank you.
Yes, please. I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. It's whatever. It's fine.
It's whatever, man.
Whatever. I'm fine.
Oh my goodness. All right, so Eric, as you put the tools away and you go back inside and clean yourself up. As you come down the stairs, actually, what does Eric's nice outfit look like?
So I think it's the exact same pair of jeans, but clean. And then a tuxedo shirt that has had the sleeves cut off. And then like a denim vest with the sleeves cut off as well. And probably like, I don't know, chronologically, I don't know if it's accurate, but I think like the denim vest with like the patches and stuff, I think that is the direction. Not full like punk rebel like studs, but I definitely think like representation of interest in things, walking billboard style. I think that's what it is. But it's the tuxedo shirt. That's the real like, yeah.
With the sleeves cut off.
You with the sleeves cut off.
Yeah, no sleeves. It's hot outside. It's summer. No.
Oh my goodness. I love it. Alrighty. Eric, as you are coming down the stairs in your outfit, you see waiting by the door, little Miss Abuelita. And so she's just like, oh, mijo, look how nice you look. And kind of does the typical grandma thing, comes up to you, like gives you kisses, straightens your shirt, like with the hair.
Still a mess. Don't worry. Still a mess. Didn't help. One bit.
Listen, abuelitas are the superheroes of the world. And if you got an abuelita, let them know because they got everything. And beware the chancla.
Yeah. I'm waiting for it to come out. I'm so scared.
Oh, I cannot wait. Be like, you did what? Hold up. Drives over to the community college.
Yep.
What did I tell you?
Yep.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Abuelita's just like, now, remember what I told you. Have a good time, but not too much of a good time. And of course, just be safe. And you tell your little friend of yours that I'm happy that they invited you and, be on your best behavior.
Always, abuela. Always. I think kiss her on the cheek, and then I'm going to go out through the garage and drive the car out.
Heck yes. So the car does sputter a little bit. It's like,
oh yeah.
But you are able to get it working for now. And you just hop in. Abuelita and your sister are out, waving at you from the driveway as you exit, and you begin heading over to the Chad's place. So as the camera follows Eric, and we kind of get a little bit of somewhat of a side-by-side at a stoplight with Shanice and Brad and Eric are kind of just like at the same stoplight. And then once it turns green, they both start heading their way towards the Chad's place. The camera briefly stops upon another residence as the cars pass, and we get to take a look at Sutphin's character. So I'm very interested in this because of the clique that you picked. So Sutphin, why don't you introduce your character to everyone? Give us a little bit of their name, what clique you picked, and a little bit of what they look like and what they're doing right now.
So, hi, I'm John Fletcher. I'm the new kid. I just moved here about a month ago. So, John's parents were in an accident, let's say, and he was sent to live with his aunt, who basically just disapproves of his life choices up to this point. He's a good kid. I mean, he's trying to fit in. And I mean, the month that he's been in town so far, I mean, basically the only really person that he's met and had much of a conversations with is his aunt's neighbor's daughter, Julie, which is how he got that invite to the party. But they talk. They kind of tolerate each other. Let's say they're not really friends per se yet. So he's. I wouldn't really say getting ready because he's basically just in the same outfit that he was in all day. So I mean, it's jeans. It's a pair, Chucks that he's kind of colored and. Done different things too. There's paint and bleach stains and all kinds of stuff on it. Just t-shirt. And of course, his he's got a Detroit Tigers hat that he loves. That was one of his one of the things that he and his dad. He has very fond memories of watching Tigers games with his dad. I don't know if Alan Trammell is part of this this universe, but
he can be now.
There's somebody that played for the Tigers that's on par with that. But so he's getting ready. He's got he's downstairs. He's told his aunt hey, I'm going out. Julie's taking me to this party. I'll be back sometime later tonight. And she's, although she doesn't really like like I said, she disapproves of his life choices, but she's excited that he's at least talking with Julie. So that makes her feel like she's contributing to his upbringing, if you will. So and he's not as fancy as the Subaru Brat, but he's driving a pale yellow 81 Chevette.
Oh my goodness. Okay, first and foremost, I love the description of John's outfit. I'm like, the shirt, the chucks, and the jeans just screams every main protagonist of an 80s movie ever.
Because they're comfortable.
I know.
and multi-purpose. I mean, they'll take you anywhere.
Oh my goodness. You can't really see it, but I was just like, chucks are comfortable. I have like 2 pairs that I rotate when I wear.
Yep.
Vans and chucks are my go-to shoes. So
you got your everyday pair and then your fancy dress pair of chucks.
Oh heck yes! You always got to have chucks to go with the fancy suits and the shirts. Oh my goodness! Alrighty, so John, you're currently waiting outside of Julie's house, kind of just sitting there waiting. So, what do I want to do here? You know what? As Julie comes out, Julie is a very, I don't want to say petite girl, but she is on the bit of the shorter side. She is a nice kind of like caramel brown complexion, skin, nice auburn hair. Now, this is nothing new for you, but if you are meeting Julie for the first time, you also see that sprouting from the back are like these tiny butterfly fairy wings kind of going on. And so as she exits the house, she doesn't necessarily walk. She kind of just floats her way over to you into the car.
Flutters to the door.
She flutters to the car door. Yes. If they are humanoid in any way, ladies and germs and non-binary people of the world, they will find their way into this game somehow. Again, alternate magical 1980s. Anything is possible.
Indeed.
So for all intents and purposes, Julie is literally a fairy. And so she kind of flutters over, and she's one of those girls. She doesn't wait. She just kind of does everything herself. So she floats over, she opens the door herself, and she just sits next to you. It's like, looks at you. You ready to do this?
Yeah, I mean, anything to get me out of the house for a little while. My aunt is driving me bonkers. Like, she is. I've got to find out. You got to show me what I can do in this place. What there is going on. That I mean, I can't stay in this house every day. It's driving me crazy.
Julie kind of looks at you, John. It's just like, yeah. Listen, I know my mom and your aunt, they're friends. They get along. And, your aunt has treated me very well, so I can't really be mad. But, yeah, I can't imagine living with her. And she kind of just shudders, especially what happened at the block party. And shudders a little bit, thinking back about it. We don't talk about it. But the whole high school knows what it is. Listen, the end of summer party and the spring block party are like the 2 biggest things that happened in St. Pelmo's Ire. Yeah, and the block party was something. But Julie kind of looks at you. All right, why don't you start this jalopy, and then I'll give you the scoop as to what to expect.
Sounds great. Let's he reaches down, pats the dash of the car, and just paying homage to the Chevette in all of its glory. Cranks multiple times and finally catches, and he's good at driving straight, but it's a little finicky. So there may be some gear grinding noises as he pulls out into the street, and gets up to a white knuckle driving speed of 40 miles an hour.
Nice. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. So John, as you're driving with Julie kind of, you're just listening to her talk. All right. So here's the 411. So this is how the hierarchy works here in St. Pelmo's Fire. The person's party that we're going to, he's known as the Chad. Super senior. Don't know why he's still in high school. He's like in his mid 30s at this point, but for some reason the school lets him stay around. I don't know. I don't question it, because we're going to this party and the Chad knows everybody and it's always a good time. Now, underneath the Chad, you have, well, I don't want to say girlfriends or boyfriends, but you have his posse, right? So you have the two individuals. You have the main person. So you know Brad, the quarterback, right? Yeah. So somehow, for some reason, Brad and the Chad know each other. Don't ask me how. I don't know the extent of their relationship, given the fact that he is a grown-ass adult and Brad is in high school, but for some reason they know each other. Football, hanging out at the arcade, like who knows at this point, right? But those two are inseparable. And basically, if the Chad needs anything, Brad knows where to get it. Now, on the opposite side, you have little Miss Hillary. Hillary is the head cheerleader, and she knows all the gossip. Now, if you find Hillary at the party, just be on guard. Don't tell her any secrets. Don't tell her any of your business. You're new around here, so you have the advantage of her not knowing anything about you and then spreading your business like wildfire. But you are also at a disadvantage too. Don't be surprised if she tries to get information out of you. Just stay strong, say no, and if you need me, you just let me know, because I remember what happened at the block party. She wasn't innocent and all that, so I still hold out above her. So if she gives you trouble, just let me know, and I'll make sure that. And as she opens her purse, she pulls out the little Polaroid picture. She's like, that dunk tank incident will still be hanging over her head. Listen, if I didn't make it obvious, Julie is basically, she is like Hillary. She knows everybody's business, but whereas Hillary is the gossiper, Julie is more of the blackmailer. So she got juice on everybody. And so if you want to know information, you either go to Hillary or Julie, but Julie is your best bet, because Julie is like, doesn't really care about the social status, but she will ruin somebody's social life if need be. And actually, funny enough, Shanice, you also know Julie, because you may or may not have had her help you dig up some dirt on some of your competitors in the leading roles.
No. Absolutely not. Not me. No.
Just say no as you like shake your head. Yes. So John, she tells you. So Brad is the bestie to the Chad, and Hillary is also the main for the girls. Now, here's the other thing that you need to know. While you're at this party, of course, there's going to be lots of people from the high school class. Now, granted that you came in halfway through the school year, you only got to know everybody like for the last 6 months, but just as a heads up, this is what you want to do. If you get invited upstairs to the Chad's room, just be careful because I heard his spin the bottle games tend to get a little out of control. And then they move on to 7 Minutes of Heaven. And according to the stories I heard, as she pulls out her little Rolodex from her purse, like she pulls out a Rolodex, she's like, let's see. According to the last party, so the Chad's party of 1984, 7 Minutes in Heaven kind of got buck wild as somebody ended up in somebody's dress. And then there was a random pig and some bacon and some lipstick. And there was also fruit punch everywhere. No one really knows exactly what that had to do with everything, but things got crazy. So if you go upstairs, just be careful. Now, in addition, you may find yourself in the living room. This is the main area of the party. This is where all the dancing is going to happen. This is where the music is popping and jumping. Now, I will say, just to let you know, if "Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine" comes off, you need to evacuate the dance floor because all the cheerleaders will rush the floor. And if you cannot get out in time, you will be mobbed in with the cheerleaders. And let me tell you, hopefully you are dexterous enough, because if not, I may have to take you to the emergency room because those cheerleaders go hard when "Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine" comes on. Now, there may be a point where the slow dancing music comes. If the slow dancing music, hit the wall immediately. Because everybody knows that if you don't, then you will be grabbed forcefully by a random man or woman. The Chad's parties knows no boundaries, so just prepare yourself. If you're not ready for that, then I don't want to throw you into it. And if you need somebody last minute, you can lie and say, "Oh, my dance partner's over there," and I will dance with you. I may not like it, but I will do that for you. In addition, you have the backyard area. That's where all the pool party stuff is. So I hope you brought your swimming trunks. And if not, just avoid the football team, because once they have a little bit of that fruit punch, as we call it, for legality purposes, so the adults don't find out and cramp our style, they tend to get a little buck wild. So you may accidentally get thrown into the pool. So, and look, Julie looks over at your outfit. So if you don't mind it getting wet, then you're fine.
Wouldn't be the first time I was tossed into a pool at a party.
And then, of course, finally, we have the garage area. So the garage area is where all the loners, surprisingly mixed in with a bunch of the party peoples, end up there. That's where all of the fruit punch pong games happen. So essentially beer pong, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary folks. This is where it goes down. So if you're feeling adventurous or if you want to watch some craziness happen, you can go to said garage. Now, at some point in the evening, you may run into the Chad. What does he look like? Well, simply enough, every time we go have one of these parties, the Chad is always in this for some reason, he thinks he's like Hugh Hefner. He's not, but you know. Now, I will warn you, the Chad loves that his party is the end of the summer because that's where summer romances happen. So if you find somebody, then that's cool. Like it's a night. Have a good time. Like I don't judge, but at the same time, you better be careful because the Chad likes to, what's the nicest way I put it? He likes to be meddlesome in people's love lives. Now, because he's a Cupid, he tends to fire arrows at people just because he thinks it's funny, especially if he's been on that fruit juice binge. So just be careful. And if you see him shooting arrows, duck and cover. Find a plate, do something, because once you hit the first person you see, you will be emphatically in love with them. That's how I found my girlfriend last year. But you know what? I mean, it worked out, but for the most part, it's a summer fling. Don't think too seriously of it and just be careful. As Julie puts her little Rolodex away. Any questions?
Can you write that out on note cards for me in case need to reference it later? So basically, stay against the wall. Avoid anybody that's swilling fruit punch. Watch out for pigs and
Arrows.
Upstairs and in the garage.
And and then the last thing, of course, if "Oh, Mickey" plays, you know what to do. Run. Oh
yeah. No. If nothing else, I will remember that.
Now, do you want those notes on regular cardstock or colored cardstock? As she's hold two separate, two different index cards.
I mean, I don't mind the colored index cards. That make it easier to reference if I need to. So.
Alrighty. And as you're driving, she begins like in a Sharpie, just starts writing all this down.
Everything out.
And then what she does is after she writes it, she kind of blows it to dry and then fans the index card. And then out of her purse, she pulls out like some scotch tape. So then she begins to cover it. So in case the cards get wet, the ink doesn't run. She comes prepared.
DIY lamination.
Yes.
Next level. That's good stuff. That's a true professional right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just letting y'all know now. It's not going to be a spoiler because you will find out once y'all move to the community college. But Julie is going to be going with y'all. So just letting y'all know, because Julie's that one character in a movie and TV show. For some odd reason, they have everything and they know everything, which are the most cool, is the best person to get to know. Especially in my line of profession, you want to befriend the student that knows all the business. Because you're like, who's doing what? They're eating lunch where? Hold up. Yes, exactly. But yeah, and then one more thing. And then Julie continues to just go on and on about the crazier stories that happened at Chad's previous parties. Now, Julie has just graduated, but she has gone the last 4 years to Chad's parties. And that's because she is the quasi photographer for this party. She's the one that is taking pictures, more so she can get the dirt on people later. But the Chad always asks her to take pictures. So the Chad always sends his guests home with a scrapbook of some sort. So when the party's over a few days later in the mail, everybody gets a scrapbook of the party. And yeah, it's a good time. Alrighty. So that is going to end the first scene. So here's what I'd like y'all to do. We're about to jump into scene 2, which is everybody arriving at the Chad's house. So my players, based on your character's emotional state, you will move the die accordingly. So for the listening and viewing audience, with lighthearted, at the beginning of each scene, the players, depending on how their character feels in that moment, will shift their dice on the emotional spectrum towards the dominant emotion they're feeling now, and it will kind of carry over into the scene. So the main emotion that a character is feeling in a scene is given a D8. The emotions adjacent to it are given a D6, and every emotion outside of that is a D4. So who knows, maybe later in this scene, we'll get to see the dice rolling mechanics. But if not, get ready, because, again, when Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine comes on, everybody just knows run and cover. So y'all will probably need to survive so you don't get trampled by cheerleaders. Those cheerleaders are vicious, man. And they do the full routine to it, too, while they're dancing. Yeah. Y'all have seen them do this at the pep rallies. They go bananas. Yeah. Alrighty. So, scene 2. The Chad's house. So, as the three of you arrive at the Chad's place, the first thing that you notice is that it's just lines of cars parked on the side of the roads. People are parked in the grass. Like, for some reason, somehow there's also like a little lake. So there's a couple of boats that are parked there too. It's like, where did they get a boat? But the point being, the Chad's a 2-story condo looking over the hills of St. Pelmo's Ire is just the place to be. And as you guys find the parking, you do need to walk a little bit. But as the three of you arrive with either by yourselves or with your friend or your summer fling, as you guys walk up towards the Chad's place, immediately you are just bombarded with the sounds of party goers. You see people like going crazy in the front yard. There's like inflatable flamingos being thrown around, beach balls. You hear the music immediately and you're not even inside. There's like toilet paper hanging off the trees. There's like a couple of people passed out in the yard. Somebody's drawing mustaches and dicks on their face with the Sharpie. As you guys are entering, you see like you see like a couple people making out in the corner. You just hear people yelling from the garage. It is wild. And as you enter the Chad's residence, you are also bombarded with music. The lights are turned down. It's just neon lights flashing. You have the DJ in the corner right now. Everybody's getting crazy to I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. Yes, we are going to go there. It's going to be such a good time. You hear people yelling from upstairs. You see people in the backyard, like enjoying the pool, and just everything is kind of going off. So here's what we're going to do. So as I mentioned, there are 4 main areas of this house. Now, granted, these 4 areas have specific things, but you can do whatever you and your character feel like. You don't have to be held down to that. So let's start with Shanice. So once again, Shanice, the 4 main areas of the house are the living room, which is where all the dancing's happening, and the kitchen's next to that area. Upstairs is where all the crazy party games are going on. The garage has the beer pong, essentially. And then, of course, in the backyard, you have the pool and jacuzzi area. So as you and Brad walk in, Shanice, what catches Shanice's eye first that she would like? Or is Shanice using she, her pronouns?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
I just want to make sure because pronouns are important to me.
Yes.
So what would Shanice like? What would she like to do first?
So Shanice will get to the party and she will see that the music's playing, and you literally said her favorite song ever. So almost immediately, like not even 10 seconds of getting in the door, she is dragging Brad to the dance floor because we are dancing to this song. I know you're a little slow, but that's okay. You can just stand here and watch. You're good. Like just yeah. Like just you'll be fine. So, and I am fairly certain that Deborah will be on the dance floor. So I will find her, we will dance, and it will be fantastic.
It will be marvelous.
So I am in the living room dancing.
Yes. Alrighty. Okay. So as you are dancing, Shanice, while I Want to Dance with Somebody is blasting over the speakers, you're kind of just dancing. Brad is kind of like, he's trying to dance, but it's like that awkward, like he's off beat, like the rhythm and the top half of his body is not matching the bottom half as he's trying to dance. Yeah, exactly. So, but you know what? He's trying his best.
You're doing good, sweetie.
And of course, Shanice is just like, bam, bam, bam.
Yes.
And so, Shanice, as you are dancing, a little crowd begins to form, and they're like, go, 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 as you're still dancing. And then you feel somebody kind of gently pull you, and as you turn around, it is Deborah. She's like, hey! And it's just like, of course, you know, when the besties meet up at the party.
Yes. The immediate screams, volume goes up like 10 decibels, and then like,
they do like the happy dance, like ah.
Do the hug and the quick hugs and like and then like because we know the song's still playing, we will like separate and then continue dancing. Like that
yes.
Yeah. Classic. Just
Oh my goodness, that is great. And you know what? I was going to make you roll, but I'm not going to because Shanice is that girl. We know Shanice is the dancing queen of St. Pelmo's Ire.
Yeah. 10 years of ballet and tap and dance. Just all of it.
Excellent. While that is happening, Eric, you arrive inside the party next, and same thing, you are just bombarded with sights and sounds. Where would Eric like to go?
On the walk. Does it work?
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
So on the walk up from his truck, before the walk, right? Eric pulled out 3 big, cardboard boxes that rattle when he pulls them out, and they're very heavy. And he puts them onto like a moving dolly that he had in the back of the camper shell as well, and starts wheeling that up the driveway. And this is the good stuff, which is his own brand of moonshine. And it's artisanal moonshine that he infuses with flavors from the surrounding area. He's super into it. So it's not just moonshine, gonna make you go blind moonshine. He has that, but it's also there's basil beer and wine that was done with flowers, the summer flowers from a meadow, and he's into it.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is his contribution to the party. Also, Eric uses he or they pronouns, whichever, interchangeably, as does his sibling, with she, her, or she, them pronouns. So Eric is going to wheel this up as was instructed by Carrie, and go to the garage where all of the wonderful storage is found for such alcohol stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, that. There you go, Sutphin. That's exactly what it looks like. That's the exact one that I found. It's the thing.
And it's got T-tops.
It does. It's exactly that.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so beautiful. This is really bad podcasting, but our lovely Sutphin posted a picture of what Eric's car would look like, and it is glorious.
Yep. Imagine a shortened version of an El Camino with an off-colored camper shell stuck on the back of it. That's what the Subaru Brat looks like with a camper shell. I love them so much.
I was pulling out pictures because I was like, this doesn't sound familiar to me at all. And then I looked at the picture. I'm like, okay, that looks vaguely familiar.
Yeah, they were there.
They were there.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God.
So Eric's gonna roll in the cart full of bootleg booze into the garage.
Most excellent. Alrighty. So Eric, as you are wheeling this your secret stash, so to speak, into the garage. Of course, when you enter, you see a bunch of high school seniors and also what looks to be a little bit of what looks to be college folk as well. Somehow made their way to the Chad's party, but the Chad has all the connections. He's got the ties to the high school. He's got ties to the college. And according to the rumors, he also throws amazing parties for the college kids. So something you all can look forward to when you get there. But as you walk in and you see all these people play beer pong, essentially, with the fruit juice for all intents and purposes, you kind of just wheel in your, I guess, the contraband, if we want to call it that. And you begin setting it up on the table. And then, of course, you hear, surprisingly, the first thing you hear is the hissing of a snake. And as you turn around, of course, standing in front of you is the familiar visage of Carrie, who in this world is a Gorgon. So she has snakes in her, like moving snakes in her hair. So
amazing. I love that so much.
So, funny enough, Carrie is dressed up in this very nice blue shirt, but she is rocking a black leather jacket with some black leather pants. And she's basically like, she likes a little bit of color, but she is forever a new wave girl. So, like, all black lipstick and all that stuff. You got the long, dark earrings, like the eyeliner to high heaven. And of course, somehow you don't question it, but her snakes also have the same eyeliner going along the sides of it.
Yep. Yeah. Fantastic.
And so Carrie's just like, oh, so the good stuff has finally arrived. And she just says, how you doing, Eric?
So Eric is organizing everything by, like, color and shape of the container. And looks up, immediately smiles. Like time slows down, heart plays in the background. It's super sweet and super cheesy. And then, like, shakes himself out of it and goes like, oh yeah, I'm good. It's fine. Good. I brought the, like you wanted. I have, you go. So I'm going to take you on a tour. And he starts on one end with the bigger bottles. He's like, okay, so this is the flower wine, right? This is a good time. Everybody can have it. Super low alcohol content. Very, very chill. Totally fine. And they're basically like smaller wine bottles. And Eric says, like, okay, so like the color cork corresponds with the color of the flower, where I found it. And, like, I have a whole list here. I wrote it all out. There you go. And then he moves on to the next bottles. And he's like, okay, smaller bottles, this one's the beer, right? So these are your herbs, these are your spices, these are your infusions. This is where you're really going to get into, like, the real, like, this is what art is all about, right? And he goes through the basil, he goes through the mint, he goes through the combo of, like, lemongrass hybrid with lavender. And he's like, this is the good
God.
stuff. And then he goes to the 4 mason jars. And he goes, now this will make you go blind. Do not drink this. This is for the adults. This is for anyone else who wants it. But I've taped the lid shut, and I wrote, do not drink. This is just a proof of concept that I know what I'm talking about, and I can make the stronger stuff. But this, don't even try it. It's just bad.
Yes.
Oh my God. I have so many thoughts and feelings about this moment.
Listen,
He does.
all I'm going to say is y'all are going to need to befriend Eric because they got the goods and who knows what kind of things. Listen, this could be a bargaining chip when y'all need something when you get to college. Just saying.
I have the junk in the trunk. And I went, what kind of junk would a high schooler put in the trunk? It's alcohol. Of course it's alcohol.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I figure we're, like, over the hour in, so, like, monetization and stuff, but I didn't know, like, what full direction we were comfortable going in terms of, like, herbal supplements, heavy air quotes. So,
you know what? That's
this route.
You know what? Yeah, I think this would be a good time to establish. So that was something I forgot to mention. So if we were going to rate this campaign, it would definitely be on the PG-13 side. So, like, most things are okay. Now, a little bit of a rated R in the sense where things get buck wild, like college campuses, fraternities have hazing, all that stuff. So pretty much anything goes within limit and reason, obviously. So we're good to go. And yes, so
we're between PG-13 and full on R. So
yes,
you can have like 2 or 3 cuss words and maybe a side boob, like
yeah. A tasteful side boob in there.
Tasteful side
absolutely.
boob.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
Well, I
my
figured, like,
gosh.
Like in terms of, I'm from California, right? And so, like, marijuana, not a problem at all. But I didn't know if that was like a full, like, yeah, we can clear this for a lighthearted game or not. But I figure alcohol, it's in the rule book, probably okay. So alcohol, and I can do a lot with alcohol, so it's fine. in my opinion.
Excellent. And so as you are explaining all this to Carrie and her snakes are all like listening intently. They're nodding. The snakes are also nodding at the same time. It's very weird having sentient snakes in your hair, but you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And as you kind of finish, Carrie just chuckles a little bit and says, "When I said for you to do your thing, you weren't kidding when you said you can do a lot."
I mean, why half-ass something? This is what I do. This is what it'd be nice for everyone involved, you know? So, there you go.
And so Carrie takes one of the less volatile and kind of gives it a little bit of sips and just smiles and says, "Oh, this is going to be a good night."
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Just staring like lovingly at the side of her face. Just like clearly like best friend, full in love, don't know what that means. Just like,
Aww.
yeah, it's gross. It's disgustingly gross. I know.
And so Carrie kind of she puts it down. She looks at you, Eric, and says, "Well, now, and she kind of turns over and there's like an empty couch. "So, since we have to wait for the Chad to come and inspect these things, and since you're not going anywhere anytime soon, why don't we just chill on the couch and just, I don't know, vibe or whatever?"
Yeah, okay. That sounds great. Yeah. And
Awesome.
then awkwardly sits on couch.
And so you both sit on the couch and, you know, granted, you know each other well enough that you're kind of having a nice conversation, all that good stuff, and just passing the time by until the Chad arrives to inspect. All right. So from there, we cut over to Mr. Fletcher. So, John, you and Julie roll up to the scene, and immediately, like as soon as you enter, you are just puzzled, confused. You might be a little turned on in some ways or not, but you're just getting this whole experience. And immediately, as soon as you enter, you turn and Julie has just gone. She is in, and you see her with her camera immediately getting to work, taking pictures. Like on the way in, she was taking pictures of the people that were passed out. There were people making out. And she's like, "Ooh." I was like, "Is that Angela's boyfriend? Why is he making out with Dylan over there?" And she's like hiding in the bush taking pictures. She's like, "That's going to be for later." Yeah, this party gets buck wild. But you do know that even though Julie is working, if you ever need her, you can just find her and just call her name and she will flutter on over to you. And she's like, "All right, who's messing with you? Okay, who you? Okay, you, come here." See, Julie's the type of person, she doesn't need to physically fight nobody, but she will verbally tear somebody down, and she's got the Polaroids in her purse and her Rolodex as backup. That's all she needs. And funny enough, she was the head of the school paper too. Who knew?
I was going to say if it was that or yearbook.
I mean, she did both.
Or both, yeah.
She did both because why? She doesn't want to give up creative control. And plus, everybody always looks forward to what she puts out because she captures the best moments of the school years. Alrighty, John, but you're kind of just sitting in this main area. So once again, you have the backyard, the living room, the garage, and the upstairs. So, new kid, what captures your interest?
Oh, so I'm thinking John's probably going to go out to the backyard initially. One, just not being as crowded. He knows a few people, but there's still, like you said, it's just a sea of people that he basically has. The only thing that he has in common with is they were in the same school for the last few months. So he's going to go out and if nothing else, just to, I don't know, be outside of not as much chaos. Because I mean, like I said, emotionally he's kind of a little confused. Just trying to figure out the wheres and the whos and the whats at this point. So.
Nice. Alrighty, so John, as you head out to the backyard, as mentioned previously, there's the pool. As you walk out, you just see, how do I describe this? Basically, you just see everyone having a good time. There are people jumping in the pool. There's like a couple of, like some of the cheerleaders on top of the football players are playing a game of chicken in the middle of it. You see a couple of people making out in the hot tub. Let's see. Somebody, even though there's food in the kitchen, someone managed to fire up the barbecue, and all of a sudden, like, there's hot dogs and hamburgers all of a sudden. You see people, you know what? You see the werewolves are chilling in the beds and they're trying to get a tan, even though it's nighttime, but tanning works differently for them. So they're moon bathing. And funny enough, you see like the werewolves have like the tanning sun visor a la, and then it's just like, and then you see a little gnome who's just sitting there. It's like, all right, turn. And then you just see them all turn. Oh my goodness. But yeah, as you're kind of walking in, things are getting chilled, but you find like a little nice like sand garden area with a little bench. And so I'm assuming that's probably I'm pretty sure that's where John is more going to be the most comfortable right now.
Yeah. He said he's still trying to process and figure out, where he fits into this new crazy world. So.
Excellent. So, John, as you're walking over to this bench, you kind of just sit down, you're just observing, you're kind of figuring out who's who. You're going through the index cards. So not only did Julie give you tips on what to avoid, she also gave you like the Spark Notes version of like the important people. So you're just like, okay, this person, okay, there's that one. And then where's that one? You look up, he's like, okay, Jen's right. Oh, why is she making out with her? Okay, all right. Like, things are getting crazy. And as you're kind of doing this, you feel a presence kind of just sit next to you. And as you turn, you see kind of a very, no pun intended, you see a very little sheepish satyr kind of just sit next to you. Nonchalantly, just, yeah, I know what I did. So a little sheepish little satyr kind of just sits next to you. The big old like bifocal glasses, like goatee, like coming down. They just are wearing, for some odd reason, it is the summer, but they're wearing like a turtleneck sweater for some odd reason. And they're just like, they sit down and they're just reading a book. And without even breaking concentration from reading the book, they kind of just say to you, John, so, new kid, how you liking the party so far? Not breaking eye contact with the book.
I mean, it's good. It's a good party. It's nothing compared to what we used to have back home, but it's I guess to each their own. I don't know. I'm anxious to see like when do things really start to kick in.
Well, you didn't hear this from me, but supposedly, you know what? Hang on a sec. And closes the book, pulls out a little notepad, kind of like one of those like old school like journalist notepads, the little spiral ones, and just begins flipping through their notes. pulls a little pencil from their ear. Here we go. So you didn't hear this from me, but I heard from Tanner, who is like the lead of the science club, right? So according to him and what he told me, supposedly the Chad has some beef with Ronnie, who is the leader of the Roadhogs, right? So, John, you know that the Roadhogs is St. Pelmo's Ire's like local biker gang. And when I say biker gang, I mean like actual bikes, not motorcycles. They're trying to be very intimidating on a two-wheeler. But despite them riding actual bikes and not motorcycles, they are vicious. They are a little easy to kind of get away from, considering the fact that, gosh, this is going to be so bad. And this might be taking it like too crazy, but the Roadhogs are easy to kind of get away from because try as they might, it only takes like one good fall or one good smack, given the fact that they are like sentient piñatas. So it's like what happened when you take the cartoon and video game Viva Pinata and you turn them into humanoid form. So they are easily and literally like if they split open, candy does fall out for some odd reason. Nobody understands the medicinal mechanics of that, but you know, it's not the craziest thing that has happened in this town. Yes, we're going there. This is where the game officially jumps the shark.
Is there a moral issue in eating the candy? Like, has that been established in the lore? Or are we going to discover that?
Oh, no.
So...
Just curious.
The tainted candy.
So, because they are humanoid piñatas, it was an issue like in the 1960s per se. But as generations have passed and the Roadhogs kind of have taken their own, they understand they are filled with goodness and candy. So if they split open, they don't get upset if people decide to eat the candy from them. What they do get mad at is if people hit them open on purpose, because if then you have the whole entire gang bouncing down on that person. So, and everybody knows to kind of be respectful a little bit. Plus you don't want to mess with them because while they're easy to get away from and they are fragile, the numbers game will still be an issue.
Went out.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, so this little satyr is like, you didn't hear from me, but Tanner, the head of the science club, heard that the Chad had some issues with the Roadhogs in securing some of their confectionery sweets. Besides being a biker gang, they also have a successful bakery for some reason. And so there was a deal gone wrong, like the Chad didn't pay them in time. So now supposedly they're making their way here and are about to turn this party upside down. So things are going to get out of control. And according to my source, it should be in about 3, 2, 1. And then from the front, like so first of all, the power goes out in the house, right? So as the dancing's happening, as the pool party's happening outside, as the garage lights are happening, like all of a sudden, all three of you see the power go out. So the lights go out. And of course, when power goes out, everybody, you hear the loud audible, like the gasp of when the power goes out. And as you all have see the power go out, you hear coming from the front of the house, as intimidating as bicycles can be, you hear just a bunch of skids happen, like when tire skids across the street, the sound that it makes, though it's not as intense because it is bike tires, but even still, you just hear
at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. You hear a cacophony of bike tires just skid. And all of a sudden the front of the house, through each of the windows, as John, you come back inside and you look out the living room window. Shanice, you're looking out a window. Eric, you're looking out the garage window. And you just see a multitude of bright neon colored lights. And standing behind these said lights are these very, even though they're piñatas, these very intimidating, as muscular as a piñata can be, like biker gang. They're wearing like these neon colored denim jackets. They have baseball bats and crowbars. And then they also have like literally piñata sticks. And
Meta.
as everyone's kind of just like peeking out of the window, some people like are on the second floor opening the door. You just, as you all kind of turn up the window, you hear somebody be like, bruh, why you gotta harshen the vibe? And as the three of you look up to the source of this sound, in all his glory is the Chad. He is wearing like these big, obnoxious, like shutter shade sunglasses, even though it's dark outside. He's wearing like this pink satin robe. He has like this pipe that he blows into that just bubbles come out of it.
Excellent.
I told you, he thinks he's Hugh Hefner, but he's not. And he's like, bruh, why do you have to harshen the vibe? And from the lights, it's like, all right, Chad, I warned you. If you didn't give us our payment, that we would come wreck things at your party. So this is your last chance. Do you want the goods? If so, you need to pay us. And the Chad's like, bruh, I told you, I'm good for it. It's just I don't have it on me now. I will give it to you later. And they just keep going back and forth. And then the Roadhawks is like, well, seems like we're at an impasse. So, boys, let's turn this party upside down. And they begin walking towards the front of the house. As we're about to get literally a ballroom blitz that is about to go down. But that is where we're going to end the episode right there.
Good. Cliffhanger. Love it.
Oh my goodness. This party is about to go wild. I have a few ideas. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting because you guys are going to have a couple options. You could try to run. Y'all can stay and fight if need be. Y'all can, I don't know, defend the house if you want. Because they're currently walking, but the Chad has plans. They might not be good plans, but you know.
Oh dear.
It's so good. But of course, I'm also going to end it there because as I forgot to mention at the beginning, we are down 3 players. So when we come back with the next episode, we're going to rewind the clock a little bit to get to what they were doing before this all went down, what they did at the party. And then we're going to see whether it's fight, flight, or defend for your life in this party. Nice. But until then, this has been the premiere episode of Neon Memories, a lighthearted RPG actual play podcast. When we come back, we will see what happened in the past. Will our 6 partygoers be able to get out of this party in one piece? Will somebody eat some candy? Who knows? We'll have to find out next episode. From all of us here, from all of us here at Vibe Tribe Productions, remember, take care of each other, love one another, and as always, make sure to let the good times roll. For all of us here at Neon Memories, we'll catch you next episode. Until then, see you later. Ta-ta for now.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been a Vibe Tribe production. Remember, take care of each other, love one another, and as always, keep those good times rolling. We'll see you next time.